Welcome back to Secrets of Life, where we're going to have an explosive exclusive on what's going on with the Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp trial. This is insane, Nikki. Have you been seeing all the memes? It's just snowballing like crazy.
They're everywhere.
And then on top of that, there's just article after article that I've noticed. I don't know if it's Amber Heard's PR team, but they are really hitting the books and hitting like Newsweek and MSNBC and CNN and all those huge news outlets that are coming out with articles that are for Heard. I don't know if you've seen E.T. lately or Entertainment Tonight, and not the movie, or TMZ. Like they're kind of taking snippets of her side, which is weird because there's so much evidence against her and her testimony doesn't make sense. And so I thought it might be interesting if we kind of not just dissect, but also look at the different memes that have been coming up and maybe kind of give our 2 cents as, you know, you're an empath. What do you think about this whole thing? What comes to mind when you're coming through all this?
Oh boy. This isn't very empathic, but it's more of just kind of a mess. I feel like there was a lot on both sides. I know I was just talking tonight about it. Where there was a lot of toxicity on both sides. I just feel like
I can see that.
one side is being more honest and open about their toxicity, and then the other side is kind of refusing to show any remorse or any part of it. So I find that interesting.
Accountability, big time.
Yes.
I have noticed there's a lot of things about her that remind me of my father while growing up, and he would mix a lot of truths with a ton of lies, but it would be so blended together that you wouldn't know which one was which, and so you had to take him at his word for it. He would sit there and say, you know, no one will believe you. You can go ahead and call every cop in town. I know every cop in town. They're not going to listen to you. You can't scream for help. All this stuff, like so much stuff. I know all the police. I know all the fire departments. We're the military. Nobody's going to sit there and listen to you. And like he would say like all these laws that I thought were actual laws. And I didn't find out until I was an adolescent and I could actually, you know, internet was a thing. So yes, we grew up before mainstream internet. Okay, guys. And once I was able to actually look up for myself, it turns out he totally lied 100%. So I feel like she's doing the same thing. She is mixing in truths. I think there was a lot of toxicity on both sides. I don't believe that he hit her. I think that when there's just too much inconsistency when it gets to those parts. She seems fluid when he's calling her names, when he's, you know, embarrassing her. That was a big point of contention, but there's too much for her inconsistent wise when she gets into and then I was sitting on the couch and then I was on the floor and I was looking at the dirty floor and then or I was sitting there and I turned my back to him and he slapped me and I turned around and it doesn't make sense. Or there's a jar of cocaine. I'm not hip with the jive. I don't know anything about drugs, but I'm pretty sure they're not kept in jars.
I mean, sometimes they might be, but you would still have kind of an idea of how much would be in there this is just from experience knowing. Huh?
Speaking of which,
we're
going to get into it. I'm just going to play a whole ton of these memes and videos, and we're going to sit there and react to them.
She's not having a drink. Yeah, that's what we need to understand, that he's got a shotgun.
Sorry, to preface this is the behaviorist panel. The behavior panel. And these 4 guys they have like PhDs. One's an FBI profiler. Another one trains. They have an extensive professional background in visual cues. your behaviorisms, your mannerisms, your speech patterns, what you do when you crinkle your nose, little tiny nuances. They are trained professionals, all 4 of them, and they're from all over the world.
Glass, and it's got Johnny's liquor in it. If I'd been with somebody for a while, I'd probably know what the liquor is. I'd probably know, though it's kept in the freezer or the fridge or whatever it is. I'd probably have a good idea what it is, because I'd be a drinker as well, like her. She has a drink now and again. Actually, from what I've heard, she has a few now and again. That's okay. I got no judgment about that. But it would be easier to say, so Johnny and I were both having a drink. Okay, but that's not what comes across here. Johnny's got a shot glass and it's got Johnny's liquor in, and she's got something from Paris, something completely different. She says, look, that's his drugs tin, and it's got coke in it, dime bags of coke, and what are those lines? Well, they're cocaine, and there's 4 of them.
4 lines.
Well, either Johnny sets it up for his 4 nostrils, or Johnny sets it up to do a couple of lines and then very quickly a couple of others. And those are all possible. Or Amber's taking coke as well. And that would be okay, because, when you're partners, you tend to kind of do some of the same stuff. You have a drink together. If you do coke, you're probably going to do some drugs together.
Let's take this in stride for a second. He's saying there was a picture that she used in her testimony of, I'm sure you have all seen it, where there's 2 huge what she calls shot glasses. They're not shot glasses, but 2 huge shot glasses. One has liquor, the other has some sort of, it's a French thing. It's kind of like airborne, he said. So it's like vitamin C. That's what she's saying she's taking. She's not taking liquor. Just so you know, she's not drinking alcohol. He's drinking the alcohol. She's not touching it, which makes it all the more non-believable. Like, it would make more sense what he was saying in the beginning if they were both drinking. It's just easier to say that. But there's 4 lines of coke. Now, I didn't know. I've never done it. I don't understand that. But he's saying that it's 1 bump and then 1 bump. So you're doing a line here and a line here. I didn't know that. I guess that makes sense. So it's like, why is there 4 lines then? If she's not doing any of this, if she doesn't know anything about this, why is there 4? What are your thoughts?
I have differing thoughts. So the only possibility would be if he was like partying hard, and this is just talking to someone that has previously used, if he's partying hard, but like massively like out of it, and he's set up well in advance in a comfortable place, though. And that didn't seem like a comfortable place that you would kind of set something up like that. It looked, I'm trying to remember the picture, but it did look heavily staged. Like it wasn't in the moment thing. It was like let's make sure that everything is in the right spot and then take the picture. That's kind of the thing that I've been looking at with that is, I mean, I could think from the use side, but the picture itself looked so staged that it didn't make sense.
Right. There were pictures of a site after they had like smashed all these bottles, and she used it in the testimony, but she was like, oh no, that's clean. Somebody must have cleaned that up.
Yeah, that's very convenient in that situation.
There's a couple of broken things, but it's only like a few sparse. And she's like, no, so somebody must have cleaned that up.
But then if they cleaned it up, why would they clean that up but only leave like the small amounts behind?
And she didn't know when she was taking the picture that they were doing that? Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies. All right. So best of TikTok. We're gonna have fun with this. Not really, because this is a terrible, terrible situation. I'm sorry. There was a lot of red flags from the get-go, but there's no way. I can't. All of my gut is saying that yes, while he is verbally abusing the crap out of her, they're both kind of giving it. And yes, they're both toxic. There's no way. He's not beating the crap out of her.
I didn't realize at the time, but I think he was using cocaine because it was like there was a jar of cocaine.
Johnny!
night.
He said, I don't think now's a good time to go.
Oh my god, I remember that S thing.
And I thought, perfect time. She's not going to be home for 2 days. And then he showed me a photograph.
What was the photograph of Mr. Depp?
It's a photograph of the bed, our bed. And on my side of the bed, was human fecal matter.
Oh,
So I understood why it wasn't a good time to go down there.
that's
The whole trial summed up in one sentence.
I think I didn't. I was. You know, he's can't.
That's pretty much.
At this point, we're sitting next to each other on the edge of the couch, or I was on the edge of the couch. I was just sitting there on this carpet, looking at the dirty carpet, wondering how I wound up on this carpet and why I never noticed that the carpet was so filthy before, and I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. I just sat.
basically.
And said that he made a mistake. Me and
Damn.
that he didn't want that woman touched back down.
It was just a kind of a surreal experience. Just went away. That just got fixed. We walked out of the trailer at some point. My dog stepped on a bee. Went to the bed.
Oh my god, that one went viral.
Sitting there on this carpet, looking at the dirty carpet, wondering how I wound up on this carpet and why I never noticed that the carpet was so filthy before, and I just didn't know what else to do.
Clean it.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Objection relevant.
Oh, my favorite is objection.
Are you
Here's
familiar with Amica cream?
Arnica.
What is it?
Amica?
Amica?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Well, when you say no makeup, you don't know she was not wearing makeup, correct?
For a fact?
Correct.
No.
And
my
you
God, that
don't
guy was
know whether
hilarious,
she had
Isaac.
applied Amica cream, correct?
No.
And
I
you-
didn't even know what Amica cream is.
And do you know whether she had applied any Amica cream that morning to her face?
No.
And do you know whether Amber had any Amica cream on that day?
No.
This stuff doesn't work wonders.
Again, do you know
It's not
whether
magical overnight.
So
Take it away.
apparently it is. Hang on, let me stop sharing. It's arnica cream,
Yeah, that, yeah.
and
that's-
on top of that, it's meant to help heal your face. That's not a foundation.
yeah.
Because I had to look that up. I was like, "What is that?" And
I
it's-
wish I remembered my school stuff. I probably should have looked that up after I heard it, but
it doesn't
yeah.
heal overnight. Exactly. What you
No. It's just a holistic aid and assistance that could take. It's just like basically putting vitamin E cream on like
A bruise.
something that needs to be healed. Like I put vitamin E cream on my cuts so that it doesn't scar. So it's not going to just overnight heal it and make it not scar. It takes time. You can't just put on arnica cream,
I will.
arnica, and then the next day like it's gone.
I guarantee you, what happened was she wrote it in pen ARN,
Yes.
and it looks like an AM. But yeah, actually, that part of the trial, that was one of the first days. It was like first or second day, and Isaac Baruch was hilarious, dude. He was so genuine, and like he's a New Yorker. He's from Brooklyn, right? So the lawyer says out loud, because I guess she's reading off of a statement, and she goes, "Did Johnny ever call her? See you next Tuesday?" And he goes, "To a face?" I don't know about that, but I mean, he calls me a see you next Tuesday every other day. So I was like, oh my God. This is the psychologist that Amber paid to testify on her behalf. She's supposed to be a forensic psychologist and a clinical psychologist. So she's a therapist, but she's also non-biased as a forensic psychologist too, which was just a whole. I mean, honestly, you should watch it. You should absolutely watch it if you didn't get a chance to. But they ask her a question.
You cannot testify that Johnny Depp was not abused, can you?
I can testify that he had physical acts of violence perpetrated on him as well as psychological aggressive acts perpetrated upon him.
No further questions.
So I don't know if you caught that, but she slipped up because the entire time she was saying that it was him that was abusing her, and then he asked her, "You can't say that he wasn't, abused," and she said, "He was perpetrated. Violence was perpetrated on him." So she completely slipped up, which is interesting. I haven't seen this one. Stop. Why do they automatically play? They're killing me here. You're killing me, Smalls.
I put my detective hat back on. Be careful what you ask for. I put my detective hat back on and I looked at Amber Heard's testimony. Now, granted, sitting in a courtroom and hearing testimony is different than sitting in an interrogation room. One of the first strategies in an interview or an interrogation is get a good lie. You let this person tell their whole story, and then you go back and ask for more detail. You know who make good detectives? Empaths.
Ooh.
If you find yourself not believing some of her testimony, I'm going to try to help you see why. As it turns out, being an actor doesn't necessarily make you a good liar.
It's kind of arguments. Nothing I do is working. I've walking out of the room is me leaving him, walking away from me. Hey, where are you going? I'm talking to you. That it went from that to pulling me in by my arm.
Johnny's described himself as getting into arguments and walking away. I think she's testifying to things that she did, not him. She slips up and says, walking away from me. And a couple seconds later, her brain catches up and she stumbles her work.
What do you think about that? Do you feel that some of her testimony is actually her taking on his?
Oh, definitely. I think that's a possibility, and I think that it's really sadistic if that is the case, where she's blaming this situation on him and she's the one that did it. That's kind of
her assistant, Kate. I think it's Kate James. She's British, and she's very no nonsense. And she was saying that she had an incident happen, and she walked in on Amber telling somebody her incident as if it was hers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that makes you wonder if she's actually taking all those incidents that did happen and flip it around and be like, she's now Johnny and he's now her.
I mean, I haven't looked up BPD fully to its extent of
Borderline.
really fully knowing it. But I'm really curious as to what is that?
Sunflower seeds.
If they dissociate and just kind of see things from the outside when they react. Because I saw I can't remember what video it was, but it was something where they were speaking about her not remembering when she had a last episode. And I really am curious if she does things at times, but is out of her body to the point where she doesn't really know fully what happened or what she did, or she thinks that the other person did it.
Interesting parallel. My father used to say, he would always call it seeing red, where he didn't remember when he would beat the crap out of us.
It's really ironic. I learned this yesterday. She is a Taurus, just as I am.
Oh, I've known that. And I've been keeping it from you because you're a Taurus too.
And I see red all the time. I mean, I don't go to this extent, but when I see red, I know the feeling inside that you get when you see red and you want to really like attack. I mean, you have to center yourself, but I know what that feeling is. I totally get it.
Messed up, even more messed up. My father's a Taurus.
Oh, so shocker.
Girl.
Man.
No, but yeah, there are a lot of parallels. I'm wondering if he all along had BPD. He's never been court ordered to do anything. He's always been above, Mr. Military. He'd always pull the military card, like, oh yeah, I'm in the military. Oh, I know so and so and so and so, and then he'd always get out of whatever issue. I mean, anyway, but that was interesting. That was an interesting part, and that's another parallel that I've drawn that he does too. He said he used to say, "No, I didn't do that," and then he would gaslight us and make us think like we're crazy. Like, no, we were there. I've got welts. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like this definitely happened. No. I think it's blatantly obvious that when they cross-examined, they had a whole week to cross-examine. This is gonna get ugly. And I think everybody's going to be like biting their nails on pins and needles. Like, how are they going to get her?
I'm curious. I'll miss it, but I'll catch up tomorrow night.
Totally miss this.
This was
She has
interesting.
2 bottles in her hand, right? Look at the one. She's going to open it up, gonna take a sip, and then she sees, oh, popo, hurry up, puts it in her pocket. Now you tell me what you think that is, you guys. I know what I think it is.
What does she think it is? Alcohol?
Yes. And I saw a lot of people who are kind of angry that everyone would think that she would be able to bring, not be able to, but even have the audacity to bring alcohol into a courtroom. I would like to say that people who are alcoholics, it does not matter where you are going. You are still going to try to drink before you go into that building. And if you can sneak it in, you will sneak it in.
Addiction.
And it's, yeah, it can be a beast. But it was just interesting with that lawyer or her attorney, whoever that was that walked in front of her. And
PR.
like,
That's her new PR because she fired the old one.
And he motioned to his pocket in the video. So like he was showing her to put it in her pocket, and then she put it in her. I didn't catch it until I watched it, like where people were slowing it down, and I was like, "Holy crap!" He actually motioned
to put it in
his pocket, and then she put it in her pocket.
So he has to know. Oh my God, he has. This is just getting way out of hand. I don't even know.
Imagine up and to the left.
Another one.
Did you have communications with Mr. Depp about auditioning for another role in this time frame?
A few moments later.
I don't know if I came back down in my nightgown at that point. This time he was holding a broken bottle to me.
I'm not convinced that that's Coke. If it was, at first I was like, oh, maybe because she does this and then she sniffs up. She doesn't sniff out into the tissue. But if it was, it's powdery, right? You'd see it fall.
They have bullets.
What's that?
They have little I would have to look it up to share my screen, but they have little bullets that hold it that you can press to and like essentially inject it up your nose.
But wouldn't that be very complicated?
I'm curious while we're...
Because it seems like almost like, okay, so somebody made an interesting point is that some actors will actually use Vaseline to make their tear ducts cry. When they need to cry on demand, what it'll do is it'll give you like red eyes and you'll start like that menthol is just going to sting. So somebody said it might be possible that she probably put my eyelash.
I'm confused about the wiping the nose thing too. Like if she did put Vicks up her nose,
yeah,
that would be runny. Like it would be actually running. which there wasn't like she didn't have a runny nose. Her eyes didn't water. Have you put Vicks anywhere?
It's just a little bit. It's just, you know, you put it on the nose and
I feel like it would make your eyes water too, though. I mean, just through
I think that's what
experience.
she wanted to do, though. The entire testimony, she was trying like hell to make herself.
Clearly, it didn't.
She even got to a point where she was trying to, and the behavior panel pointed it out, that you're trying to like hyperventilate to make yourself, those deep breaths will actually bring tears to your eyes. And that also, if you work yourself into a tizzy, you can actually do it that way, but she just couldn't get it.
I feel like if I was looking up Coke bullets online on my computer.
Yeah, let's not trigger something, okay?
But you just put a little bit in, you press a button, and it goes up.
You press
So, like, there's a little button on the side. So you just do a quick press while you're, inhaling.
Huh.
And so I think that's what people were thinking, the clicking noise, because they have one where it's really like amplified hearing.
Uh-huh.
You hear a clicking when she was like looking down at it. And
But
then
that's
you
what I
hear
thought
a second click.
Again.
No, that was the other time with the holding it. It's a separate time when she was holding the tissue to her nose. That was when they took the picture. But when she was looking down, it looked like she was fiddling with something before she got like the tissue up to her nose. That's kind of why people think that she was using. And then the reaction afterwards is very
typical,
interesting.
He's howling, like, holding the dog out of the window.
This was interesting.
And everyone in the car, I'll never forget it. Everyone just froze. Yes, right, yes, right.
Okay, so that is an attribute to, in her testimony, she says that he held the dog out the window. And what she's saying is like held the dog completely out the window, and everyone was just shocked that he
I
would.
think she was adding by leash too. I feel like I heard that too in the testing. I can't fully remember, but it sounded like
like holding the leash and then like.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a little bit far for.
All right, so this is the one that everyone's watching. She's getting off of the stand, and he's walking past because it's the end of the day, and she does this. She recoils, right? And oh my God. And all the news outlets made a huge to do for that reaction. Like, oh my God, she freaked out. Here's her first day of testimony. She's walking right past him. Total confidence, even looked at him. And now we're going to go back to this. Let's freak out and make a drama about everything. Like he was going to hit her or something. That's part of that histrionic personality disorder I think Dr. Curry was explaining. Because it doesn't make any sense. You walk right past him for both testimony days, but the very end of the day, he comes near you and you're just like, oh, suddenly he's there. Oh my God.
I do feel like it's trying to
get sympathy.
Yes. And it's just at some point, when you're like, I don't know if people do this anymore, but maybe when you're a kid and you're like crying because you really want someone's attention and it didn't work, but like you just still force yourself to cry because maybe eventually they'll figure it out. And then you're just sitting there like, oh, this is such a waste of time. And it's not going to like resolve the situation and you move on and it really gets boring for you. You would think that she's getting at that like third level of crying where it's like, oh, this isn't working. Like,
try something else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about the cross to see if she tries a different angle. If that
Mhm.
makes sense.
I don't think she really can, and I can really see the way that their lawyers or Johnny's lawyers are doing cross examinations. Um, they're very firm and they go in with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to Amber's. So I feel like Cross is gonna be, yeah, they probably have a whole setup going for Cross at this point.
It's just I this is my prediction. All right, you heard it here first. Sorry, my eyelashes keep. This is my prediction. So from the very get-go, I'm just kind of wrapping this up here. There were, and I know a lot of people say this, but I honestly felt from the very beginning something wasn't right. Okay. As somebody who was abused, I can honestly say that I just wanted to be over and done with and get on my way. She not only filed a police report, which is fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. What I'm saying is that all of a sudden there's a ton of press there on the day that you're going to file a restraining order. Somebody had to have called them. They're not just going to know this information right off the bat. Somebody called them to let them know, hey, Amber Heard's going to be there, and make sure that you bring all your cameras. Number two, she wore no makeup. Now, maybe it's because she was trying to get the restraining order, so she wanted some proof. But, you know, honestly, if I'm going to go out and I have bruises on my face, I'm covering that shit up. I don't want people to see that. That's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was perfectly fine for all the world to see. And then again, the cameras just happened to already be there when she was going to the courtroom to file for a restraining order. And then the third thing is she wanted to keep the house that she was abused so horrifically inside. Tell me, Nikki, as somebody who has been abused, would you ever want to stay 1 foot inside that house?
Mm-mm. No.
She fought.
Yeah. Even going through emotional abuse, I have not wanted to stay in that.
You want to get out ASAP. No, she fought tooth and nail to keep that house. That made no sense to me. So I'm predicting this right here, right now, because she has gag ordered a lot of his friends as he was going through this the first year. She would gag order them and sue them immediately for defamation. They weren't allowed to speak up for their friend. I can almost guarantee you that same pattern of behavior is going to happen after this. She's going to get upset, embarrassed. Remember, those are the things that really, really made her lose her. Like, that's where the truth is coming. When she's embarrassed, it hurt my feelings. I'm embarrassed. I felt like nobody liked me. She's going to sue the crap out of everybody who has maimed her name. And I feel like she's going to do it again. In some way, shape, or form, she's going to try to sue him again and sue all the people that were on the stand talking against her.
Mm-hmm.
That's my prediction. I don't know. What do you feel?
I feel like it's that way because I feel like they think that the interesting thing that they keep saying is they're asking why Johnny's not continuing with a different defense, or essentially a different defense. They're saying that he lost the PFA, which he didn't lose. It was a situation where I don't remember exactly what it was, but he didn't have a chance to speak for himself against the PFA, the temporary PFA. But they're still saying he lost that. And then the thing in the UK, they're saying since he lost that too, why is he still sticking to the same thing? And he's clearly going to lose this. And it's like
he's trying to clear his
he
name.
hasn't changed the story though.
The entire relationship, the only time that she punched him was on the landing. When she's coming down, he's here, and somehow her sister gets in the middle. So she shoots around her sister and punches him in the face. I'm sorry, she doesn't punch him. She hits him. There's a difference. I know you're laughing. That's sarcasm.
Oh boy.
But that story has changed 3 times so far. So she can't even get that right.
Mm-hmm.
And the son, they weren't allowed to admit a lot of the evidence. So they basically shut down half of his defense.
Yeah.
And the PFA, he was out of town. So he couldn't even do anything. he was gone. So she did it while he wasn't there on purpose. There's just so many inconsistencies. So stay tuned with us. Maybe we'll help you, ponder along with us and break things down and cross-examine a few things, because this is going to get interesting. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the link below. Nikki's an empath. I'm a whatever. What am I? What am I? Intuitive. I'm an intuitive. Make sure you check out our channels. Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.